Why is the S9 a superior design to the iPhone X? I'm talking about hardware here, not the OS. I'm not talking about Android versus Apple's iOS. I'm talking about the external of these newer phones. Hi, I'm Brian, also known as the Suspicious Tree, and welcome to why I'm trying to tell you why. Welcome to our comparison to the Samsung Galaxy S9 to Apple's iPhone X externally. And I'm going to make this clear. I'm not talking about the OSs yet. I'm not talking about Android versus iPhone. I'm making that clear. I'm talking about the external things, as in, the home button, the fingerprint scanner, the audio jack, all that stuff. I am not talking about the OS yet. That is a video for another day. So, reason number one, why is the Samsung Galaxy S9's design way better than the iPhone X? Number one, the all screen, no bezel design that Apple wanted to make with their Apple iPhone their idea was actually executed better by the Samsung Galaxy S9. You know why? Because look at the iPhone X. Look right here. Look at this. Look at this bezel just sticking out. And people who do have the iPhone X say, well, the bezel's just the bezel. You just get used to it after a while. Well, it's Apple. They know what they're doing. They're the best company. No, they're not. They're just adding some gimmick to make you think it's cool. No, they executed terribly. Just they say in their commercial, we want an all screen, no bezel design. But they executed it terribly. Like, look at this. The bezel, they still got the edge of the screen right here. That still counts as a bezel in my book. They still got the edge of the screen right here, all around it. But then we look at the Samsung Galaxy S9. You look at this. For one, on the edge, it has the Samsung Galaxy S9 Edge that they're actually famous for right there. And it just makes it look so much bigger in such a smaller package. It makes the screen take up more of the phone and look bigger, unlike iPhone's plan to do so, which failed terribly. Then the top and bottom bezel. Look at that bottom bezel. It's just as big as I just noticed this. It's just as big as the outer rim on there. It's just as big. But it's black, and it's not sticking out, it's not shiny, it's black, it's trying to not seen. And that's what I like about it. It's simple, it's just not trying to not be seen, and it makes for a bigger screen. And when you're watching videos with a black background, it just makes it look like you're just holding a video in your hand. Whereas on the iPhone X, you can still see these bezels on the side and the frickin' notch. I mean, the notch disappears when you're watching black. Both the bezels do on the Samsung and the iPhone X, but it's just so much more. It's executed so well here because I think this is like even thinner than iPhone X is right here. Like I'm going to say again, and then the top bezel. Yes, the bezel on the iPhone X is just terrible, whereas on the Galaxy S9 it has this top bezel that is just trying to not be seen. It doesn't get in the way of your video. It gives you the full video if you need it to, or you can zoom in with if you get. I'm trying not to go into the OS, but it gives you the full video and doesn't have something just sticking out, right? It just gives you a nice, simple phone. The home button, fingerprint, just getting into the phone. Just getting into the phone is so much better on the Samsung. Why? Because it gives you more options. The iPhone X, yes, it has a superior, yes, I'm going to say it, superior facial recognition than the Samsung Galaxy S9. Yes, it's a little bit better, but not by much. And I think I can live with that with the Galaxy S9. Whereas the iPhone X, that's really the only feature it has into it. You can press the side button to get in and swipe up, and that's all the options you have. It's either face scan or press that slide up. I think maybe even put in a passcode. I think if the face doesn't recognize, and that's it. Whereas on the Samsung Galaxy S9, 1, you have the fingerprint scanner. 2, you have the iris scanner. 3, you have the facial scanner. And 4, you still have the pattern lock ID that most Androids have. You just have so many more options. And they even did something like intuitive with the fingerprint scanner when you go into the OS. Yes, I'm trying not to talk about the OS, but this is related to the hardware, what the hardware can do. When you swipe down on the fingerprint scanner on the back of the Samsung Galaxy S9, it actually has the feature of bringing down the notifications. So you don't have to actually, move your thumb and bring down notifications that way. That was innovative right there. Unlike Apple, that doesn't have anything but the facial scan and the regular ways to get in. The Samsung Galaxy S9 just has more options. And the home button. The home button's freaking gone on the Apple iPhone X. All it is turn it on and swipe up and put in your passcode. On the Samsung Galaxy S9, you can actually, there's many options. You can turn on swipe like you're usually used to. You can turn on facial scan. You can turn on and even hit the home button that is imprinted. The home button's actually indented, or I don't know the word, but it's under the screen right here. So you just press that part of the screen and it still opens the phone. Something the iPhone X is lacking. I'm pretty sure, I might be misinformed, but I am almost 100% sure it doesn't have that. It doesn't have the under home button. It just has that swipey thing. When this has that tactile zoom, or that little vibrate you get when you hit the home button on the iPhone 8, if you're an iPhone user, it still has that, only it's more screen. It has less bezel, but it still has that home button there, something iPhone should have done. Features like micro SD and the headphone jack. Apple doesn't have jack shit on this. It has that. It's just something the Galaxy has that the iPhone doesn't. And I hate that. The Samsung Galaxy S9 puts so many more features that they can, unlike Apple, it's just like, oh, let's remove a feature and call it innovation. No, that's not how it works. The Samsung Galaxy S9 still has an audio jack right here, still has the charging port, just like the iPhone X, and it even has a micro SD slot up here, something the iPhone X also lacks. If you don't know what the difference between a micro SD slot and just a slot and a SIM card slot, a SIM card is, just you put that in, that's like your provider, or I don't really know much about SIM cards, but that you just put that in, that's your provider, and then it lets you get LTE and everything, and that's all like kind of puts your information from your provider in. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on that, I might be wrong, but that's all that slot has on the top or the side, or I don't know where it is on the iPhone X. Whereas on the Samsung Galaxy S9, it has the SIM card slot and the micro SD card slot all in one right here. And the micro SD slot lets you have more storage. You can just buy a micro SD from Amazon and expand your storage up to 400 gigabytes. For like what? How much are micro SDs right now? Like $40. What? To expand your storage, whereas on iPhone, if you want to expand your storage, it's like, oh, you can get our better model for like, I don't know, $150 more, that you could have just, bought a Samsung and gotten way more storage for way less. And back to the audio jack. It's just something Apple doesn't have that the Samsung does. This still has Bluetooth. The Apple iPhone X has Bluetooth, but not an audio jack. It has that little dongle thing that you are going to lose. And, it's not proven, but it's pretty obvious that Apple just wants you to buy more things from them. So they're just like, oh, let's take out the audio jack and make you have to buy our little dongles. Because they're Apple. Alright, this is not another reason why it's better. This is actually a score for Apple right now. A score for Apple is the Bixby button is fucking terrible on the Samsung Galaxy S9. This little thing right here, this little button right here is an ergonomic nightmare. It's so close to where you put your thumb right there to pick up your phone and your other finger right there, and you try to press the home button, but the pressure on both sides makes you press the Bixby button too. It's just terrible. Like, you'll just accidentally press this all the time. You want to turn the volume down, you think it's two different buttons, but no, this is both volume up and volume down right here. You'll think this is volume down for like the first 2 weeks that you use this phone, and you always press the Bixby button, and Bixby will just come out and be like, hey, what's up? Whereas the iPhone 10, I don't know how Siri's activated. I'm not sure. I don't have an iPhone 10. I've seen them in use. I've seen the iPhone 10, but I don't know how Siri is activated. But God, I can bet it's not as god awful as having a dedicated button you can't remap on this thing. That's one score for Apple. I'll give that to Apple. But on the Galaxy S9, well, you can turn off Bixby. You can just turn that button completely off and just have a button there. It just does nothing. Oh, oopsies. That just has nothing on it. That's better than accidentally pressing it all the time. But yeah, score 1 for Apple. Now that I've said all my main rants about why the Samsung Galaxy S9 has a better design than the iPhone X, I'll go over the things that are kind of worth mentioning but kind of not. The speakers are the same. They both have speakers on the bottom and the top right here. So that's a win for both of them. They're the same in that respect. Both 12 megapixel cameras, and both dual. If you get the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, you can still get that dual camera action. And yeah, they're both 12 megapixel cameras, and the screen resolutions are similar, so not worth mentioning the difference. They're both pretty much equivalent to a 1440p display. So in that regard, they're pretty good. And that's all for this video. That's all the rants that I just wanted to get out of my system and make a video about. Leave your comment below if there's anything I forgot that the Samsung Galaxy S9 has that the iPhone X doesn't, or vice versa, if you're an Apple lover. I had an iPhone 6s for what? I had an iPhone 5 and an iPhone 6s before I got my Galaxy S9. Yes, that might ruin some things here for you, like, oh, this is a biased review. Well, I'm not biased. I'm trying to look at this objectively. I switched to the Galaxy S9 very recently, and just I see all these features that it has that just iPhone's just throwing away, and I'm just like, why would I stay with a company that just throws away features that are so useful? Why would I do that? And I just don't get why Apple is just going down the drain, just throwing features away, putting in new bezel stuff like it has. But then some people have the argument, well, Brian, other companies are putting in the bezel and taking out the audio jack. That Apple must have done something right. No, they haven't. It's Apple. It's one of the biggest companies, or the most renowned company. Most people know about it. And other smaller companies are following that because their dumb consumers are just like, oh, it's just like Apple, so it must be pretty good. No, they're just following the big kid at school. They're following a bad influence because it makes sales. Copying the best, no, not best, hell no, ugh. Copying the quote-unquote best brand is going to have dumb, uninformed consumers buying their products. And that's why people are copying the iPhone X's dumb bezel design and no audio jack having design. Whew. Sorry about this rant. I'll wrap the video up. I'm the Suspicious Tree, and I'll see you in the next video. And have a good day.